Good morning, children. In your class, a discussion on the lesson A Legend of the Northland is going on. We have discussed this lesson in two sessions previously. You have already known that this the plot of this lesson is Northland. You can say the North Pole, where the nights are very long and days are very short. A great Saint Peter was moving in the world. What was he doing? He was preaching. He was giving sermons among the people. He was very tired and hungry. So he went to a to the house of an old lady. But the lady was very miser. Saint Peter demanded a cake from the lady. In order to provide a cake to Saint Peter, the old lady took very a small dough to make a cake. But when she was baking the cake, she felt that the cake is very big to give Saint Peter. So she tried to make another cake, means she tried to make a smaller cake in comparison of first. Saint Peter became very angry and cursed the lady to be a woodpecker. Now the time has come to discuss the exercises given under thinking part about the poem. Your first question is there before you. Which country or countries do you think the Northland refers to? You can say that the Northland refers to a country in the extreme north, or you can say the countries, all the countries of which are situated in polar region, means North Pole, near North Pole. So I think you are clear about this question. Second question is there for you. What did Saint Peter ask the old lady for? What was the lady's reaction? This is very important question before you. Saint Peter asked the lady for a single cake. But the lady made a very small cake again and again. It means she made a very small cake to give Saint Peter, but she felt that the cake is very big, so she made another cake, a smaller than earlier cake, but again she felt the cake is big, so she made another cake which was a smaller than previous one. It shows the tendency or nature of the lady who was very miser. She has she had no idea how should she help a hungry person. So the lady, you can say, the lady was greedy. So she made a smaller and a smaller cakes again and again. I think you are clear. Third question. How did he punish her? What do you mean by he? He is Saint Peter. Who is her? Her is the old lady, the greedy lady, the miser lady. How did he punish her? This is question. He punished her by changing her into a woodpecker. Okay? Means Saint Peter punished the lady by changing her into a woodpecker. You know, woodpecker is a bird who bores and bores in a tree and finds a little food. Okay? My fourth question. How does the woodpecker get her food? This is the question. The woodpecker bores into the hardwoods and gets a little food. This is very important. Question number 5. Do you think that the old lady would have been so ungenerous? This is opposite word of generous. If she had known who Saint Peter really was, what would she have done then? It is very difficult to say this with certainty. Perhaps she would have given him a good cake if she had known Saint Peter. It means the lady was not aware of the power of Saint Peter. She was unknown. So she gave a smaller cake. She baked a smaller cake again and again to give Saint Peter. Perhaps she did not know about Saint Peter. Question number 6. Is this a true story? You can say that the poem is a legend. Is this a true story? Which part of this poem do you feel is the most important? You know, the poem is a legend. The poet says, I don't believe it is true. The poet says himself. You can see the line. The poet himself says, I don't believe it is true. But you can feel fourth stanza is the most important. What is fourth stanza? Once when the good Saint Peter lived in the world below and walked about it preaching, just as he did, you know. He was doing a good job. So you can say fourth stanza is important. Question number 6. Sorry. We have left question number 5. Perhaps. Do you think that the old lady would have been so ungenerous if she had known who Saint Peter really was? What would she have done then? We have done this. It is very difficult to say this with certainty. Perhaps she would have given him a good cake if she had known Saint Peter. Question number 6. Is this a true story? You can say the this story is a uh, legend. Which part of again you can say that the poet says himself that I don't believe it is true. But what is important? It gives a good message to people. This legend may not be true, but this gives a good message to people. Uh, Next part of the question number 6. Which part of this poem do you feel is the most important? Just I have told you the fourth stanza is the most important in this poem. The fourth stanza is once when the good Saint Peter lived in the world below and walked about it preaching just as he did, you know. Question number 7. What is a legend? Why is this poem called a legend? A legend is a folk tale which is passed from one generation to another. It is very hard to believe that a woman can be changed into a woodpecker. Is it okay? You perhaps you have remembered a legend is a folk tale. Lok Katha, which is passed from one generation to another generation. You can say it is very hard to believe that a woman can be changed into a woodpecker. Question number 8. Write the story of a legend of the Northland in about 10 sentences. I think this is very easy to you. This poem is a legend of the Northland. Once Saint Peter was traveling to preach in Northland. He was hungry. He went into the cottage of an old woman who was baking cake. He demanded a cake to eat. The woman baked a very thin cake to give him, but she thought that it was a big cake. So she baked another thin cake and thought that it was also big to give. She repeated this many times, so the saint was angry and changed the lady into a woodpecker. Actually, after being a woodpecker, the woman started to bore and bore in a hardwood and got a little food to eat. This was the punishment given by Saint Peter to the old lady. Part 2, question 1. Let us look at the words at the end of the second and fourth lines. Wise, snow and clothes, true and you, bellow and no. We find that snow rhymes with clothes, true rhymes with you, and bellow rhymes with no. Find more such rhyming words. You can search by yourself. You have to search more rhyming words in the lesson. Earth, rhymes to hearth. Done rhymes to one. Lay rhymes to away. Flat rhymes to that. Faint rhymes to scent. Food rhymes to wood. And same to flame. Question number 2. Go to the local library and talk to older persons in your locality and find legends in your own language. Tell the class these legends. In your home, if your grandparents are alive, you can demand to your grandparents, either he may your grandfather or grandmother. If you demand him or her a legend, they will tell you a legend. And such kind of legends are passed by people from one generation to another generation. I remember a legend told by my grandmother. There was a bird. He got a gram. Actually, she wanted to remove its skin. You know, there are two parts in a gram, but the mill swallowed a part of the gram and only gave the second part to the bird. The bird was very sorry because he wanted to eat one part of the gram and other part she wanted to carry for her children. She requested the mill, please provide me the second part of the gram, but the mill refused to give the part of the gram. So she went to request to a blacksmith and complained against the mill. But blacksmith refused to go to the mill. So she went to the king of the country. She complained against the mill and the blacksmith that they have not heard their request. The king ordered now the king was ready to punish blacksmith. When the blacksmith heard, heard that the king was ready to punish him, so he went to the mill. But when he started to tear or break the mill accepted the demand of the bird and gave the part of the gram to the bird. So I have heard this legend from our elders. Dear children, you should demand your parents. I think you can find a good lesson, either the legend true or not true, but it will give you a great message. I think you will do so. I hope you will write the answers of all these questions by yourself. You should always try to write the answers of these questions in your own language in a very simple way. You listen these lessons, the explanations, summary, the exercises, discussion of these exercises regularly. If you feel any kind of problem, you may directly ask me. Uh, I am ready, always ready to answer you. So I hope you should read your lesson again and again. If you find a difficult word, you can see your dictionary, that will help you. Everyone should have a good dictionary that will help you. I think you will do better. Thank you, children.